Ghost Cult Magazine welcomes it. Benny from Avoid. How are you doing, Benny?
Doing well, man. How are you?
I'm awesome, all things considering,
Yeah,
for
no kidding.
the end of the world, as I like to say. So it's kind of funny. I've been joking with some bands. It's like it's almost like all the heavy, like death metal and black metal bands wish this plague on us, and it came true. I hope they're happy.
Right?
Um, Badass band Avoid from Seattle. New record is coming out, The Burner, this November. Really cool. I've been spending some time with this record. I'm really hyped to chat with you and hear all about it. But yeah, man, for those who don't know the band, let's just dial, like, before we unpack the music, let's talk about the band a little bit. How'd you guys get together? I imagine in Seattle, but let's hear the story.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of give you the good rundown of what you need to know. I mean, so this is technically still the band that I started when I was in 8th grade. And so
Nice.
so this is, I mean, this is myself and our guitar player Nick especially, but I mean everyone in the band, especially where we're at now. It's all of our baby, but like this is our like this is I'm pretty sure I've been spent more of my life in a void than I haven't. You know what I mean? Because I'm 22. So I guess that's off by a couple years. But so we've just been at it for so long. Like we've loved playing music together since day one. And essentially Nick and I kind of got linked up the summer before the year of going into high school together. And so we were doing band practice that summer, and then we went to our first day of high school. And I mean, essentially all we wanted to do was just play local shows. All we cared about was playing shows. We loved any and everything about that. And then once we were able to actually start getting our foot in the door, then we really just started playing anything and everything we possibly could. You know, we got lucky and we're starting to get some of the national shows where we were the local opener, and we would sell the pre-sales and get $2 a ticket and blah 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 blah. And we were doing that whole thing for, I mean, I'd say a majority of our life. And yeah, I mean, we're just young kids. We're all high school friends, and we all love each other very much. And we're just happy that we still have the opportunity to play with each other.
Oh, dude, that's amazing. I am very fond of saying it is the music business and not the music friendship, but it's
Yeah.
cool when the music business can also have your friends. It's tough, but it's cool.
And they definitely, like, with this current lineup, that's not to say like we're all old friends, but had our handful of, I wouldn't say a handful, but we definitely had a few member changes here and out. Not We haven't done anything in a year, but we recently parted ways with our longest bass player back last August. And now we have the crew that's just like what it feels like it's always been this crew. But like there's no fighting, everyone kind of just like does their own thing but together, and no one really like steps on each other's toes, and we don't have to be like, hey, did this get done, because we all kind of know. And so the fact that we're able to operate on that, it definitely, like I said, it took a minute to get, but now that we have it, man, I mean, I love my bandmates so much. I could talk to you for hours about that.
Oh, that's great. I almost never hear that. That's so good and refreshing to hear. Um, I think, it's good to have that perspective. Longevity is the thing. It takes, you were saying you have been in this band like literally a third of your life, and
Yeah.
like it's hard. It's hard even with your friends, even if you trust people, even if you love the same music. Just human nature. You have beefs, things come up or whatever, you disagree, and then you patch it up. But it's really cool that you guys are so tight and you love them so much. That's amazing.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I mean, like truly, where it came from is we got tired of hearing all our friends that we were on tour with. You know what I mean? And not even that we were on tour with, because I'm not trying to call anyone out. Because honestly, most of the bands that we've toured with are still our best friends to this day. But in local bands, and just, I mean, you hear it through the grapevine, but it's always like the singer's in the room and he's like, fuck, man, that fucking asshole on guitar, he doesn't even fucking know the songs, bro. He can't even fucking show up on time. It's like, okay, then kick him out. Why is he in your band? If you don't like him and you're not going to talk good about him behind closed doors, why are you pursuing a career with him?
So true. All the feels from why I don't play in bands anymore, because you're too young to be too jaded, and I'm a jaded old fuck, which is why I'm in journalism now. But it's fine. I love making music, and That's awesome. And yeah, like just there are beefs and then there are beefs. You know what I'm saying? Like I said,
And that's honestly, we fight about it. Like we dead ass beat the fuck out of each other already. Like I don't know why we're just weird people, but like that's kind of how we determine if something's worth being mad about. Like if we'll fight about it and like throw hands, then we're mad about it. And if it's not worth doing that over, you get the fuck over it.
I'm getting flashbacks to the early Lamb of God home movies where they were like drunkenly beating the shit out of each other, or cool,
Oh,
or
we do it. Yeah, we do it for fun.
yeah.
Like even when we're not drunk, we kind of just like we'll just like Charlie horse each other a lot.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, that's not like I hate your guts. I'm gonna choke you out. That's like
No,
fun.
but I mean, you get some really hard ones in there, and I think that's how we all stay on that level because it's like you can think back. When was the last time I got to really sock Benny? And you're like, oh, I guess yesterday.
Nice.
He can get away with being an asshole today.
Right. Punch your bandmate and get away with it. You're probably in a good group of guys.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then so like I love this music, man. It's like a lot of different things happening to talk about and pick apart. So I love. It's like I hear thrash, I hear crossover, I hear punk rock, a very melodic, catchy stuff, lots of screamy, heavy stuff. There's definitely I'm interested to hear about like all the musical influences that you guys pull from because it's going to be hard for anybody to just say this band is one thing.
Well, man, that's honestly the greatest cause. Like that is the one goal we had in mind with this record was making people have that reaction. So that means a lot to hear you say that, and I'm really happy that it comes across. Because I mean, truthfully, for us, it comes from a place of not wanting to sound like everyone else, but also trying to bring that familiarity in of like you've either heard this before or it gets stuck in your head really fast. And so that's kind of always been our goal. But I think that something that we even did with our first record, and especially in the years before that, we were really caught up in like, oh, we got to be like this band because they did this and that's making them get bigger. And it's like, and it was never even selling out because we always thought what they were doing was cool. We never didn't do anything we didn't think was cool, but we were definitely just trying to rip everyone off. And like, because we were like, oh, that person's doing that, so we should do that. And then once we stopped like taking anything with the mindset of like, because we also were taken as a metalcore band off of the gates, and that's not what I consider us, at least. I mean, metalcore to me is like Bullet for My Valentine, Kill Switch Engage. Like, I mean, even Converge I would consider on the verge of metalcore in times. Like that to me, like when I learned about metalcore, that's what I was told metalcore was. Like even like the modern day metalcore with like the dun 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 dun. It's like, yeah, it's like kind of metalcore, but that's not the power choruses with the like. But off all that, we got pinged as a metalcore band really hard, and no fault to metalcore, but we were like, man, how do we make people really realize that we're not a metalcore band? And I think that's what these songs turned into.
That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, like you hear a little bit of that, but like, yeah, I think about more like Darkest Hour, or
Yep.
even a band like The Chariot, where you had like a lot of different things going on musically that weren't just one thing. I
Yeah, I
also
mean, even I
consider
see
you
a
can't.
Trivium poster in the back, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
what's making
that's
me think like
yeah,
old school Trivium. Like,
yeah. I like all that shit. Actually, there's a Converge poster you can't see off screen. That's like Converge and Quicksand, which I was at last summer. But remember
what a
shows?
fantastic bunch of bands right there.
Right, remember the shows? Anyway, my heart it hurts. That's why I laugh. But
I know.
yeah, man, that's awesome. And then so Seattle, right, which is a city. Obviously, everybody knows the rich history of the music, but also like is a very current and thriving scene across like every little subgenre you could find a band you like.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of cool music up here.
So how did you guys like? Did you have trouble fitting in? You said you played a ton of local shows and touring. Did you get a lot of side eyes from bands who are like very severe and which very genre specific fans? How do you guys cope with that?
So I feel like our come up, especially in the Seattle scene, was really weird because all we ever wanted to do was be accepted by who at the time were like the kings of the scene. And we started when we were so young. Like we were opening up for like Moz to Flames and bands like that when we were like 15, 16. And I mean, I wouldn't say we sucked, but we were also definitely 15, 16. And I think a lot of the reaction we got, we always had at least I don't want to speak for the scene, but I feel like we always had a decent reputation. But it felt like from the beginning, it was like, aw, these cute high school kids are in their high school band. Aw. And it was like definitely taken with a grain of salt. Like, look at these cute kids, not like, oh, this band is actually sick. And we definitely felt that. And that, I think, gave us a little bit of a chip on our shoulder kind of the whole time, because I think we still kind of feel that way, even though we're in our early mid-20s now. But that feeling kind of never goes away. And so we were just coming up. All we wanted to do was be accepted for who we are. And we thought we were just kind of getting dragged along because we didn't totally suck and we were young and people thought that was cool. And honestly, there's a decent amount of truth in that. But it helped us learn a lot, just watching bands break up and bands fail. Like, we've now seen so many different eras of the Seattle scene just in 8 years, of like who's been the top dogs, who's the flavor of the week, all that stuff. And it's just like, all we ever wanted was sustainability. We didn't want to be a band that fizzled out in 2 years. And truly, like, our biggest influences are bands like Foo Fighters, honestly, like Dave Matthews Band, like jam bands that have a really, no, I wouldn't say jam band because Foo Fighters is not a jam band. Dave Matthews kind of is, but like bands that it's a show. It's not just they're playing some songs to backtracks. And I'm not being the one that talks shit about backtracks. We definitely use them. But there is kind of an element when Dave Grohl kind of gets up and talks shit about bands using backtracks and stuff like that. Like, a lot of new bands get really offended by that. And it's like, well, he has a point. Like, you don't have to like it, but there is something about being a band, and whether you're using electronics or not, I think it's about the experience you're creating. Are you just on stage playing your songs, or are you breaking down in the bridge and you're doing a little jam, and then there's an improv solo and you're doing an interaction with the crowd? And all of that stuff is why we fell in love with live music. And once we and metalcore bands don't do that, and then we thought we couldn't do that because we were considered a metalcore band. And then when we stopped giving a fuck about that, we started having a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you break out of your comfort zone and you also like get away from other people's preconceived notions, it definitely frees you up a lot as an artist, right?
Yeah.
Dave is great. I don't know if you've been following this. He's doing these like drum battles with this 10-year-old girl, Nandi Bushell, in the UK.
Yeah.
First of all, she's fucking amazing.
She
And then
rips, dude.
she rips
She's
so hard.
insane.
She screams as she plays, like she yells along, like sometimes she sings the words, and like I think she's wonderful. And then I guess Tom Morello, she doesn't just play drums, but I think drums is her number one thing, but she also she sings, she plays guitar, she plays bass. She'll do entire covers of just her. So she challenged Grohl to a drum off over a series of covers, and like he took it, and they're like trading videos now, like reaction videos and videos playing together. So like the most precious thing ever.
That's so awesome. I love it. And that's why I think Dave is, I think, a collective for all of us. Just like, he's truly our God, man. Like, there's never going to be someone like him again, especially because I think part of his story has to do with the time frame. Like, it's not very many people now could leave high school at 16 to go tour Europe in a metal band, wind up in Seattle, happen to try out for Nirvana when you're just staying there in between times, and then your record goes #1 in a week. Like, you're like that story, and then the fact that you were able to sustain that through one of the biggest tragedies in music, and then create an even bigger band.
Right, for sure.
That's fucking sick.
We probably should kill Dave Grohl and drink his blood for like eternal life or something, because there's probably like some magical shit going on with that dude.
Right?
And Sound City and them Crooked Vultures and Queens of the Stone Age and everything else he does. The guy's insane. Yeah, he's bananas. Be a Dave Grohl, don't be a Chris Novoselic. Sorry, everybody in your hometown, but gotta go there. Just
you
gotta
said
go
it,
there.
not me.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna let that statement be said.
I play bass and I respect the guy, but like also I don't. So anyway, now that I got all your friends to probably hate my guts, yeah, man. So super cool. The Burner, right? I love like these genre twisting songs and really catchy. So like that's another thing is like I think like the sort of ethos. I'm so metal. You can't be catchy because it's weak. But like I love pop songs and I love classic rock and I love great choruses. So you guys have like great hooks, but still very heavy, which is
Thank
not
you,
easy to
man.
do. Like it's almost like a pop punk thing. Not that you're pop punk, but that's like what it reminded me of was like good '90s pop punk, like Offspring, right?
Dude,
Remote
that's a huge influence.
and
Huge.
or Everclear is another one. I know they're kind of from up there, not to pigeonhole, but if you can write a great chorus, it doesn't really like I used to say like it doesn't even matter. You could take a great song of any genre, and if it's catchy, you could just literally play it. And, you see all the reaction videos and all the videos, Anthony Vincent 10-second songs. Literally, a good song is a good song is a good song. And I'm pretty fucking metal as a dude, right? But like I love catchy stuff. So like you guys are you're gonna definitely connect with people. Like whatever it is that you're trying to push across with your music, you're gonna catch people. You
Thank
know.
you, man. That means a lot. Like, and that's we really just we hope that if you because a lot of people are probably finding us for the first time right now, and I guess the biggest thing we'd say is just go into it with an open mind. Like that's all we just go into it with an open mind and just take the songs for what they are. Like we really like our songs definitely come from a very real place. And I mean, the whole record does is like, and starting as young as we did. And we started booking our first like DIY tours when we were in high school. Like I was doing it in the back of high school class on my laptop that I would bring to school. And I would literally just cold call and out of the blue email venues and just hope something would happen. And it's like, that was how we started. And for the longest time, we were just self-booking tours, playing anywhere that would let us. And I mean, all of that stuff. And then when we started getting a little, like, people started paying attention a little bit, and we got burned a couple times, and now we are here. And now this is the burner. This is a correlation of all that bullshit over the last 8 years.
Right, paid your dues, and there's more coming, of course.
Oh yeah,
So
I'd say we just started paying our dues.
Nice. Well, yeah, of course, it never really stops. But so you guys got there's also a lot of fun in this band, which I think also comes through, not just musically, but I have to ask about like Hostage at a Beach House Party, and the song about James. Who is James? What is the hostage situation like? Who is the hostage? Are you holding someone hostage? What's going on?
So it's funny. So Hostage at a Beach House Party is weirdly, that's probably the most serious song on the record. And so I had this entire song written, and we just couldn't think of a good hook line. And I had the na 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 na, and I was kind of fucking around with that. And I had like a couple placement lines that were pretty weak in my opinion. And then our guitarist Nick, we were just like making like food, and he was like, "Hostage at a Beach House Party." And then I was like, "Yo, wait." And he was like, "No, I was kidding." And I was like, "I'm not. I'm going to go track that."
Amazing.
And really, really, that's how a lot of our ideas we come up with. We get really close, and then we kind of start doing something else, and then we're like, that, and then we just roll with it. The second we get that feeling, we roll with it right then and there. We don't second guess it. We're just like, okay, sick. Let's see what happens. And then there's a lot of times where that doesn't make the record. I mean, that's where all of our demos come from, and we do it so often that then it's just picking out the best dumb ideas. But Hostage is, yeah, I mean, that one's a trip, man. That's and that's how we wanted it to be. We wanted it just to be it. I mean, that song's just about social anxiety. That's kind of what I want everyone to be able to, like, that's the other thing about our band. We definitely want you to take these songs for you. Like, these all come definitely from a place of emotion, but music can do for people a lot of different things in different times. And so it's like, I'd rather say, like, go into our songs with an open mind and take these songs for what you want them to be and let them mean what you want them to mean. Like we're just here to have fun, and our music definitely comes from somewhere, and I'll definitely chat with you about it, but especially like just listen to the songs, and if you like them, you'll find like hopefully they'll be to you what you need them to be for you and in your life right now. That's how I think about it.
Nice. So I want to ask you to.
It might be James Corden, it might be James Hetfield, and it might be James Addiction.
Who knows? It could be anything. That's amazing.
And a lot of
Um,
people get that name wrong, but it is James Addiction. That band from the late 80s and 90s.
all
Yep.
right.
Yep. I'll die on that
Um,
fucking hill, baby.
right. It's like the Berenstain Bears or the Bernstein Bears. Who knows? Who knows what it is? The Mandela effect.
I feel like if I say it enough, I'll talk it into existence.
Word. I love that. And then Finish Line 2, Electric Boogaloo. You don't have to explain what it's about, but I love this title for a lot of reasons.
Thank you, man. And truly, it's because I do want to set the record straight. A lot of people, I mean, there's the Boogaloo Boys and stuff right now that are going on. There's some like that are it's a spoof. It's an 80s movie that's about just so like you can look up Electric Boogaloo and you'll learn
Yeah.
what it is. But so just so if anyone's wondering,
yes,
it's an homage to that.
right.
And
fuck racists and fuck Proud Boys and fuck Nazis, right? Straight out. I know that. I know where your heart is at.
I figured you did.
I didn't even get
anyone was wondering.
mildly. I'm offended by everything because I'm Gen X, so my shit is ruined, and I get upset at every little thing. I was not mildly concerned at all. I'm old enough to. I remember when that movie came out. Break Into Electric Boogaloo is about breakdancing, and Boogaloo is about partying and dancing. And fuck those guys for.
And this song was also written like a year ago.
Right. Yeah, and we're gonna make Hawaiian shirts great again for racists and Nazis. Like we're gonna take everything back that they're trying to take. Don't worry, motherfuckers.
I love you, man. I like this. Yeah. We're already hitting it off. Yeah. This is great.
Yeah, of course. But
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you because I have now lived long enough that a movie that came out when I was first getting into like punk rock and thrash metal, a movie about breakdancing, which was like everywhere where I'm from. I'm here in New York City, and that's where I grew up. So like a cultural reference from like 35 years ago is so awesome and sustaining that you found it and made a song title with it. I think that's fucking genius.
Thank you, man, and yeah, absolutely all credit to Break Into Electric Boogaloo. It's a tip of the cap to the culture from what was coming up at that time and what's shaped a lot. I mean, all that stuff that was going on during that time has shaped modern day, and anytime we can tip a cap to it, we're happy to.
Killer. Pop culture references all day, every day. But The Last Boy Scout is a movie you should check out with Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis that just popped up on Hulu. I love that film. I don't know why, but that's like my favorite.
I haven't seen it. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's great. It's like a terribly great action buddy cop movie. Anywho, to get serious for one quick second before as we start to wind this down, Seattle is like on fire right now, I heard, because I love California and Californians, but some of them are fucking stupid and set the woods on fire and wildfires and stuff. So I hope you guys are safe. I heard like the city, Washington State and Oregon are getting like fires because of California and the heat wave and things. So I hope you guys are safe. Obviously, there's a lot of virus, political unrest. You're a young guy. This hopefully is just a blip in your whole lifetime. I feel like I'm losing this whole year of my life. Again, I was talking about concerts before. I feel like I'm losing this whole year of my life at the twilight. And you hopefully for you, this will just be a blip. But like, how are you weathering all these storms as just a guy in the music world? It's got to be weird to have a record. Like chances are you may not be able to play a record release show. I'm sure they may not be touring by November or October. Maybe we might start to see some socially distant.
Like I always think maybe Europe if we happen to get an offer of some sort.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm doing all right. I actually do. I've spent a lot of time in Seattle during this time, and our guitar player, especially Luke and myself, and I mean all of us have been trying to pay attention to a lot of the movement and what's going on in Seattle, and we're trying to stay as involved and informed and as educated as possible, and defund Seattle Police Department. And I think that keep your head up because the news is making this sound a lot scarier than it is up here. I mean, our city's not destroyed. I'm in Capitol Hill a lot. There's definitely it's a tiny little blip for what the city is like. We're doing all right, and the fires are pretty rough. The fires are kind of scary. I don't know what's going on with that. It's changing every hour. But I appreciate you sending your love, and on here, I'm sending all my love to all of our friends down the West Coast right now, and especially if you're close, you know where to reach me. I can definitely. No one should have to lose their home, especially during a pandemic.
Right, well, it's already fucked, and the government doesn't care. So, like, please don't anybody lose their lives or their, I know it's just stuff, but to some people, their stuff is their life, and again, I have a lot of many friends in California, but also y'all are fucking stupid. So, anyway, to spin this out on a positive and more upbeat note, I love what's going on in your room, man. So, I like the fun zone here. I see obviously some show posters from your band because I see your logo. And what's happening? Describe to me what's going on with your shelf. I see some cars, maybe some cassettes. What's happening in the shelf behind you?
That is a tiny blip of my NASCAR collection.
Yes. All right.
I've been collecting die-cast cars and NASCAR memorabilia since I was a little kid. And I still do, especially on tours. Touring is honestly what started it again because I got to just go to so many thrift shops, especially in the South, and I found a lot of cool shit. And so, yeah, I just have that. And and I know we didn't get to touch on this bunch. I hope we can chat again soon, and I can get even into more about my life. But I am a promoter alongside of Singing in a Void. And so a lot of the posters around my room are some of my favorite shows that a Void has played, or tours we've been on, or shows that I've just personally booked. And I like to wake up every day and look at that shit because it reminds me that I'm not a totally worthless piece of shit.
Oh, you're not, buddy. You're not. You have value. Your band kicks ass. You're helping the scene out. I dig it. You're like, we need like 10, 100 more of you really to make this shit continue to go. So don't, I hear that story all the time. Whatever you do, thank you for doing it. And I'm hyped on this record. I think a lot of people will be when they get to hear it, and we will talk again, I'm sure. So yeah, man, great.
I would love to. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me on, man. It really means a lot.
Man. For sure, man. Thank you so much for your time. Be safe out there, and we'll catch up with you soon, okay?
Thank you so much again, man. I appreciate you.